He averaged 1.8 points per direct drive. That is the second most by any player in a postseason game over the last 5 years. And so let's come out and talk about this at the table here. RJ, as you watch Kawhi Leonard, what was the first thought going through your mind last night after Toronto in a game they desperately needed bounce back big?
How efficient he was. He was so efficient and so direct in everything he did. But it wasn't just Kawhi. It was the entire Raptor team. And that's what I like. When we talked about this, that there are certain teams that have another gear. Orlando came out and hit first. The Nets came out and hit first. But all of a sudden, when you see that second gear that Kawhi Leonard has and no one on Orlando has, that's why you know that they're going to be fine and they're going to be safe.
Look, to me, it goes back to why did you make the move? Why did you get rid of DeMar DeRozan? You got rid of him because you felt like you had the potential to get a top 5 quality player in the NBA when he's right. Last night, Kawhi Leonard was right. He has that other gear. He also has that experience, which therefore means that he can take some of that pressure off of other guys. And I think we saw a little bit of that last night with Kyle Lowry, who was atrocious in Game 1 and what seemingly was a little bit more free in Game 2. Now, does that carry over to Game 3? That'll be the big test because you have to see consistency in that. We haven't seen this kind of efficiency from Kyle Lowry in any playoff series.
And what's so weird is that the Toronto Raptors have had success in the postseason. Like, do you understand if you lose Game 1, like your chances of winning the series decrease, but they always battle back. So I'll give that compliment to Kyle Lowry. I'm not focused on your Game 1, but seriously, at some point in time, you have to recognize that their team is going to be flawed moving forward, mainly because there's that big gap there with Kyle.
Jalen, as we watch Toronto play with with Leonard, obviously there's so much intrigue here because he will be one of the primary people making a decision this summer. Do you get a sense that how he played last night, how Lowry played last night, the way they looked so good last night, does that factor in, do you think, to his thinking?
Play with desperation, and I do think it factors into his thinking because if you're the Toronto Raptors and you lose in the first round to Orlando and Kyle Lowry plays like crap and the team has him under contract for 3 more years, you leaving. Like, this is a point guard-driven league, and that's his point guard. He's a perennial all-star. He had 0 points. So Game 2 was all about him responding. And I agree with you. Kawhi was terrific, taking it to the next level and being really efficient. This guy's unstoppable when he get going.
Listen, you can say what you want about the dealing of DeMar DeRozan and whether it was handled perfectly or not. I can't speak to that. I wasn't in the room. But I respect someone for saying we're good, but we can become great. We can make a daring move and improve our team. And that was the first thing you said to me in the meeting this morning. Leonard is just better than DeRozan. He just is. DeRozan's a terrific player. Leonard's a top 5 player in the world.